And we are live. Hello, awesome people. Thank you for tuning in. You are watching Art Autopsy. I am your host, Clint Carney. This is a bi-weekly live art event. I do painting right before your very eyes. My name is Clint Carney. I'm a professional artist. I work a lot in the film and television industry, and I encourage everybody watching at home to get your art supplies out and make some art right along with me. Let's see, and please participate in the chat too. There's always cool artists in there, so please go and say hi. Let's see, who do we have in the chat so far? We got Sarah, Liz, and Jennifer in the chat. Hello to everyone. Okay, first, always got to start the episode by a very special thank you to all of the people that support me over on Patreon. So thank you, Jennifer. Oh, my camera over there. I forgot to hit record. I'm film the process on two cameras here. Anyway, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Tango 14, Travis, Anthony, Derek, Rachel, Stephen, Violet, Jill, Charlie, Misty, Donna, Necro Technicon, Stormy Dragon, Sarah, and Brian Swartz. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate all your support. It means a lot. Let's see what's up. Okay, we got Julie and Michael in the chat as well. Hello there. And Travis in the chat. Hello. Okay, so what are we going to get into? Let's show off some viewer art. If you're new to the show, hold on one sec. I have to mute my speaker here because I have it playing back for me. Okay. If you're new to the show, if you make art during this broadcast, email it to me at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com and I will feature it on an upcoming episode. So with that in mind, we've got two viewer submissions from the last stream that I would like to show you guys. The first one comes from Liz, who is a longtime contributor, and she is here in the chat, so please say hey to Liz and tell her how awesome she is. And this is some tattoo flash that she's been designing. Liz told me that she just recently completed a class, and now she's going to get to start testing out working with the machines for the tattoo biz. So that's exciting stuff. Great job, Liz. Always cool to see your progress. The next submission comes from Jimmy Arbaugh, who goes by the name Ojisan Obscura. Here, you've probably seen him in the chat before, so hopefully he'll come in at some point. And check out this piece. This, I don't know if this is oil or acrylic, but it's really, really cool. I dig it a lot. It kind of reminds me a lot of Beksinski, or Bechinsky, I always mispronounce his name. Really cool stuff. So Jimmy, if you're watching this, fantastic job. Let's see, we got more people joining in the chat. Serena Roman Luna Nocturna is in the chat. Hello, welcome. So yeah, great job everyone. Thank you for submitting. And if you make something today, please email it to me. My email address is clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. And I'll feature it on an upcoming stream. So I got a bit of news for you. I'm going to be vending again at the Hyena Horror Market coming up on March 21st. It is a free event, so if you're in the area, even if you're not in the area, come out to it. It's free. Why not? There's a lot of great vendors they always have and special guests, and it's just a fun time. And it's always, it's like a small event, so you really get a chance to kind of meet everybody and really get a good look at all the stuff there. I always have a great time vending there, and this time I'll once again have paintings and masks and music stuff and sculptures and all kinds of stuff. So come on out. Now let's show you how last live stream's painting has turned out. Here it is. Here's my little pig. I might still do a little bit of work on him. He's wet right now. I was still working on him even up to today. And then this is his squirrel companion from the week before, so you can see how they fit together quite nicely there. Pretty happy with how they both turned out. Yeah, I might keep tweaking them for a little bit, but overall, pretty happy with it. And then today, what we're going to be working on is I'm coming back to a painting that I started in January and honestly have not touched it since that live stream, and I really love the rough painting and I thought it was about time to give it some color and get to work on it. So this guy right here, if anyone was watching in the first stream of the year, you saw me create this guy. And as a refresher, this painting is based on this sketch that I was just randomly flipping through an old sketchbook, found this sketch from, what does the year say, 2013, and thought it had potential. So I rendered it out a little better into this thing that you see here. And today we're going to get into color on it, and I have some crazy ideas for it. So he's kind of like just made of wax. So it's like, it's not that he's a candle. He is a living head, or a dead head, I guess. But he is made of wax, and I want the wax to be multicolored, almost like a rainbow pattern dripping down. This is going to be an extremely vibrantly colored painting by the time I'm done with it. So we'll see what we can get done today. And then there's some other fun little items in the painting. There's this little chattering teeth toy that has an electrical plug on it for some reason, I'm not sure. We've got a vase here with some flowers that'll be fun to paint. I'll keep those like uber unrealistically bright as well, just to match the wax. And then all of his colorful wax here is going to be dripping down and splattering on the base of this table. And he's got a cigarette and a lighter there, because why not? I mean, if you're just a severed head on a table, why not smoke? What's it gonna do, kill you? Anyway, let's get to making some art. Let's see if anything new is happening in the chat here. Jennifer says, yay, melting head. Oh, well, thank you everyone for the lovely comments on the pig. All right, so I laid out some colors in advance. I'm going to show you what I pulled out, and I'm missing a color actually. Let me go to my I don't know if I ever showed this to you guys. I have a big tackle box, and this thing is just filled with every color paint you can imagine. And I am looking for cadmium red light, and I also want cadmium red deep, which is in my hand. All right. So let me show you what we're going to be dealing with. When I said it was going to be a colorful painting, I was not kidding. We got a whole rainbow worth of selection here. So cadmium red deep, cadmium red light, alizarin crimson, magenta, cadmium orange, lemon yellow, light hue, cadmium yellow, phthalo turquoise, phthalo green, 3 different shades of blue. We got cobalt, cerulean, and manganese. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of crazy colors, and of course black, white, and usually end up throwing in some of the old transparent oxide red. Inevitably, can't do one painting without that color for some reason. So yeah, I'm just going to start squeezing paint out onto my palette, and we'll get started. What I might do first, actually, I'm going to take a little bit of magenta, thin it out quite a bit, and just tone the canvas right now, because the white of this canvas is bugging me. So just squeezing out some magenta, and I've got a jar here of odorless terpenoid, which is what I use to clean my paints with. But in this case, I'm going to be using that terpenoid to thin out my magenta. And I'm just going to lay it on quick and dirty here, and let's see what happens when we give it a wipe after that. Yeah, there we go. That's all I want. I just want it nice, a nice tint to it. Get rid of the harsh white of the canvas. So how are you guys doing today? What is new and exciting with all of you? What art projects are you working on? Are you working on one right now as you watch? If so, tell me in the chat. Tell us all. Inquiring minds want to know. Okay. See, isn't that lovely already? Just a little bit of color in there. It goes a long way. But we will be adding a lot of color. Michael says, I keep all my paint in Gain laundry soap buckets. Excellent. Hey, there's no bad place to store paint. Yeah, that tackle box is just for my oil paint. I have a couple big plastic drawers over there just filled with acrylic, and I have a couple giant wood drawers behind me there filled with spray paint. So, and then 4 or 5 boxes filled with airbrush paint too, floating around here. So there is paint everywhere you can look in this garage. Unsurprisingly, I guess. I could have done this process a lot faster had I just picked a bigger brush to do it with, but that's all right. We're done now, so. And just wipe it off there, and now we're just left with a nice magenta tone over everything, which I think is a nice starting point. See, Michael says, I'm now painting a Necrid mask. Add details. All right. Excellent. Yeah, one of these art autopsies, I will do a mask, or sculpt something, or something 3D related, if you guys want. Because, yeah, I know I've been talking about that for a while. Haven't done it yet on the live stream, but it would be fun. All right, I think I'm going to just start with, what am I going to start with? Yeah, I'm just going to get some paint on the table here, on the surface. And actually, I'm going to throw on a pair of gloves because I'm going to be working with some cadmiums and stuff, and that's those kind of pigments you don't want seeping into your pores. Count von Backelwolfing 5908 has joined. Greetings from the Bronx. Greetings, Count von Backelwolfing. Tuned in just in time to see the piglet. Love it. Ah, thank you. Liz says, I'm finishing up outlines for American Trad, Neo-Trad, and New School daggers with hearts, anatomical hearts for the last 2. Very cool. Excellent. All right, yeah, so we're going to lay down some color on the table. And, yeah, let's do that. And the table, I'm just going with like a wood grain. So, as you might predict if you watched me paint before, we're just going with transparent oxide red for our base brown color. It's kind of one of my go-tos and mixes so well with other colors, you can just kind of make it look like anything. And I'm not being too precious about whether or not I step on any of the other parts of the painting. I might, you know, if I go too deep into it, I'll take a rag, but I mean, everything's getting covered at this point. So it's got some basic coverage there, and I'm using, you know, this kind of chiseled brush that I use all the time, so now I can just go in with the flat edge of it there, and then just kind of hint at some wood grain. And as we get into detailing much further into the painting, all of that, the grain of the wood and everything else will be finessed. But for now, that is going to work just fine. Same thing I did with the background. Actually, I just thinned this out with odorless terpenoid. That's why it's flowing off the brush so quickly, because it's just a super thin coat. This wood texture eventually is going to be made up of a series of different colors applied in different layers and stuff, so no need to go in too thick right away at this stage. And then also, of course, you know, we're going to see the table in back of this, so we have to think about the way the light is going to refract around this vase. All right. I think what we want to do is actually, instead of, see, if I just drew a straight line back there, matching the angle of the table, that's not really going to be completely accurate with how the light is going to refract around it from the shape. I'm actually going to come in a little lower than the edge of the table and give it a little bit of a curve there. Now I'm just guessing at this point, right? This is nothing I'm doing right here can't be fixed later if I want to, but that's kind of feeling right to me. And I'm just going to fill in the rest brown for now, but this is, or with the transparent oxide red, but this is going to all be finessed with additional colors as we go. And then the bottom of the glass here is going to end up catching light, as will the top of our water line here. In fact, you know what I will do, just to, so I don't lose track of my sketch underneath too much, I'm just going to squeeze out some white onto my palette as well, and just lightly hint at this water line around the top so I don't lose that as I go on with different layers of paint. I know that's where the water line is, and let's give the bottom of the glass a little suggestion that it's also catching some light there. Right. Okay, cool. That's good enough for now. And I'm just kind of darkening some of these back corners here, just to give it a little dimension. And now I'll go even darker on the front-facing edge. See, when I toned the canvas with that magenta and then wiped it off with the cloth, it took off so much of the paint that I'm not even worried about my hand touching it right here, because most of the paint is been wiped away, for the magenta at least. And then the base of the table is also going to be woodworking, but it's going to be more of like a carved wood. I'll probably do some kind of ornate patterns in there. Obviously I just hinted at there being some kind of carving in there, but I'll think about that, what we want that pattern to be carved into the wood there. If I want to get really crazy with it, I could just look at a picture of a table and see see if there's a cool design out there in the world, or we can just shoot from the hip and make something up. Either way, it's carved wood, so as long as it looks like it's made out of wood when the painting is done, that's all that will matter. But I'm not going to, in spite of what I just said, I'm not going to do the base of the table just yet. I'm just getting the tabletop done so I can have, so when I get in and start adding the color onto the head there, it's not going to be distracting me. But I don't want to do the base just yet because I'll inevitably smear the ever-loving shit out of it with my hand if I get wet paint on it at this early stage. Let's see. Excellent. Thank you, everyone, for the lovely comment. And Charlie has joined us as well. Hey, Charlie. Thanks for joining. Yeah, this painting, this unfinished painting has just been here taunting me in my garage as I work on other projects, just, you know, screaming at me to finish it or at least make some progress. And so I thought, you know what, rather than starting yet another brand new painting that just adds to the stack, why not get in there and give this guy a little love? Okay. That's a good base for our wood. So we're gonna, again, you know, made of wax, gonna be rainbow colored basically. I'm gonna start with our blues on this side, I think, and then let that transition into teal and green and yellow and then red on the right side, his left, my right. Yeah, then we got a flame coming on here, so we got to think about how this flame from the candle is going to interact with the wax underneath. What part of the wax is going to be translucent, where that might shine through. We got to think about how this light source is going to interact with this object, which is super close to it. Are we going to catch any reflection on the glass here from the candle, or is the shadow side of this head going to block it? So we got to think about all those things. Also, you know, there's just going to be, there's light in the room already. It's not solely lit by this candle. So I imagine the light source, I mean, just based on my, none of this I have to commit to here, but based on just what I roughed in, it's kind of up and to the right, that's where it's, you know, so we got to think about that kind of stuff too if we want it to, you know, if we want the end product to look nice. We really want to try to get an understanding of where the light in the room is coming from and how that light interacts with different materials in the room. Then we're going to want to do like we got, again, a cigarette and a lighter right here. This is just going to be like a plastic Bic lighter or something like that. So I'll probably have this cigarette still burning. So maybe like put a little cherry on it and have it, you know, some smoke wisps coming up. But all of that is later stages. For now, let's paint some colorful wax. I'm going to start on my left side with blues. So let's check out our blue selection here and also think about how we're going to do this transition. So again, cobalt blue, cerulean blue, manganese blue. These are the three that I selected. And I just dropped my brush and it disappeared into the ether. Here we go. Oh, here it is. I found it. So I'm going to squeeze these out on my palette, and also it's going to transition into a phthalo turquoise. So I'm going to get those out. I'm also going to get a little bit of black on the palette, and we're going to do some painting. Hey, this is something that I'm not going to go too in depth into it during the live stream because it's something I'm kind of keeping details only on Patreon for right now, just for my patrons over there. But I do want to say that I have started, or not started, I'm pretty deep into building a video game. I'm making my own video game, which is something I've endeavored to do for a while, and really finally making progress with one I'm working on now. It'll be just like a desktop game, phone game, iPad game, tower defense type thing, based around Halloween. And yeah, it's coming together pretty nicely now. Really excited about it. So yeah, anyway, over on Patreon, if that's something you're interested in, follow me over there. I got more details. I shared some screenshots, and I'll have another update for the patrons tomorrow. And now I'm just putting some good old original liquid on my palette. For those of you who are new to watching me paint, liquid is a medium that accelerates dry time and also thins out the paint so you can work better in layers. And yeah, let's see here. I'm going to try to trust my original sketch here, which was done in January. And some of these lines I look at and I go, it's been so long, I'm not quite registering what all of them were meant to be, but I am going to trust my past self and just get some color on it and see how see if some of those details kind of show themselves for what I had intended back in January. And if not, I'll paint them differently. I love this stage of a painting when it basically, goes from black and white, and then the color just starts coming on, and it just starts to, get some shape. I'm just kind of chunking in the color right now, but I will want to also think about how we're going to need individual drips of wax in the middle of this mass of larger shapes of wax that are happening. So maybe that's now that I think about it, that's probably what a lot of these lines were meant to signify. And so I have again, I mentioned I'm using a phthalo turquoise, and one thing I'm doing on my palette is taped to my table, unfortunately, so I can't raise it up and show you guys right now. But I'm mixing up a gradient with that turquoise and white, so I have access to different shades of that turquoise. And then I also have my sketch over here, the original sketch, which is not super helpful at this point, but still like referencing it every now and again, just because it was the original idea for this painting. as rough as that was. And I'm also going to go ahead and just get some green in the mix. So the other thing to keep in mind when you're painting, you want to understand what the surface is, what the material is like that you're painting. And this being wax, it will have a sheen to it, but it won't be super glossy. It'll be somewhat translucent, so at the thinner parts, light will travel through it. But it will have a slight reflectivity to it, almost like a satin sheen. So, you know, we got to keep all of those things in mind too as we go through this. And that really selling that material, the waxiness of it, I imagine is something that we're going to get to over the course of time as I layer in different colors and even go through different stages of the paint. So now I just kind of want to block things in, but yeah, I do want to keep that in the back of my head. Like, what would this material look like? How would it react to the light? And I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of cadmium yellow on my palette as well. Oh, by the way, I use these all the time in every video. I never point them out, but these kind of grip pliers are awesome for, they're called Robo Grip pliers, which I love already just because it reminds me of RoboCop. But they are awesome for opening little tubes of paint. So Robo Grip. So I'm just going in here with some cadmium yellow. Maybe I'll throw a little bit of titanium white in it just to lighten it up a bit. And I'm just going to hit little bits next to some of this turquoise with it, which I'll then blend together. The yellow mostly is going to be on this side, but I want to start introducing little bits of the other colors. And I always recommend, you know, keep a rag in hand, because as you go, you don't have to clean your brush thoroughly in between stuff like this, but if you're getting too much of different colors on your brush, just give it a wipe, and that'll prevent you from muddying things up too much as you go. Yeah, I think that little bit of yellow in there is doing something, but you know, we're early stages on this, so it's hard to judge this early. But while this paint is wet, now I can take some titanium white and I can just do some blending right on our canvas here, or on our board in this case. We're not painting on a canvas, we are painting on a gessoed piece of masonite right now. And yeah, that's all right. I don't hate that. And get a little highlight here on this drip. All right. again, I'm just kind of trusting my original sketch here where I had drips, capturing that original intent, and I can always go back and take stuff out, put stuff back in if I end up not liking those original ideas for how I placed them. But the fact that I was staring at this unfinished painting for so long and really thinking that it needed to be finished tells me I did something right, at least, with that original idea. And then the melted wax around him too, I want to keep it consistent with the colors, as he melts down. So we want to make sure that we're matching those colors that are coming out of each side. So back here on this side, it's going to do the same thing. It's the blue. It's going to transition into turquoise. Only now, if you'll recall, I talked about the light source being overhead a little bit this way. So part of this is going to catch the light, I think. So I want to think about that as well. And then in that, because it's not flat, the wax will have a shape to it. Is that casting a shadow on the table? How big is that shadow? I'm not going to get into putting shadow on the table just yet because I have wet paint underneath it, but I will have to think about all of those things as the process moves forward. And I'm going to add a little bit of reflection on top here, but I think what I'm going to do is just mix up some magenta with a little bit of titanium white, and then take that magenta color and let that mix right in with the blue over the top. And this is going to be kind of a washed out version of this is how this blue wax is catching the light. I really like that, just the very simple magenta tone on the background. I think is actually could be nice as a bounce color. Like maybe that's the color of the light in the room, has that magenta hue to it. Everything is on the table at this early stage, right? Now let's transition this into some turquoise. And I'm even going to let that bring in a little more green into there. Yeah, all right. I mean, what do you guys think? You feeling this already? You know, it's early stages, but, you know, making progress. Julie says, is it going to be like snow cone colors? Yes, Julie, it is going to be exactly like snow cone colors. Hopefully. Because if you don't walk away from looking at this painting feeling hungry, like you want to eat this dude, then I have failed. Failed in my job. Yeah, maybe it'll just end up looking like melted ice cream at the end of it and not wax at all. But once I put the flame in the candle, that'll eliminate that confusion, hopefully. All right, let's let that simmer for a bit. Let's work on the top of his melty head here. Let's see, I got some cadmium yellow out already. I'm also going to squeeze out some of this lemon yellow hue. And I want to make this like, you know, when you burn down a candle and then the edges get rough on top because it keeps sinking in, almost like a volcano-like deal with it. So that's what I'm going to go with here. Just kind of give it that volcano dip. Just let it be yellow up top, and then we'll bring in some of the turquoise in a bit. Michael digs it. Thank you, buddy. Charlie says, looks like a Labradorite. Is that like some kind of a dog breed I'm not aware of? I don't know. V Gray Artworks. What's up, buddy? Hey, Violet. How's it going? Thanks for joining. And Julie says it looks pretty so far. Oh, thank you. Again, yeah, so this is the part of the wax where, you know, it's not only catching the light because it's directly there by the flame, but it's also going to have a little bit of translucence to it, which will be easier to sell once we have all the background and everything worked out. But for now, we carry on. And I'm just going to get sloppy with it here and let this lemon yellow hue work its way out here, and we will rein that yellow in later as we progress with the painting. But for right now, I'm just kind of going to let it fall away from there in a gradient. And now I'm just going to go in with some titanium white and just let that flame be a very bright hot spot. If we were thinking of this in terms of film, the whitest part of the candle I would allow to be a blowout, as in it would be solid white with no detail on the inside. And I'm just going to use a little bit of turquoise for the wick. Okay, that's a good base layer for that. But you know me, everything happens in layers, so it will all come together later. Let's see. Oh, I can see my camera can probably be angled a little better, a little higher up. No, it's there. Wait a second. Oh, you know what? My screen is scrolled down, so I'm not seeing the top part. There it is. I had my screen partially scrolled upward, so I thought I had cropped off my painting. I gotta take this sweater off. I got a space heater pointed at me, and it's doing its job. Oh, apparently it is a blue iridescent stone, not a breed of dog. Kidding, by the way. I didn't know it was a stone, but I figured it was not a dog. But, okay. I'm going to let the blue carry through a little bit here. And we're going to get into some more green. I'm gonna take some phthalo green here and mix it in with a little bit of the cadmium yellow. No, that's not the trick. Sorry, I'm just trial and error mixing paint over here. What do I want? Take some of the lemon yellow and mix that in a little bit with the phthalo green. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Now I have a little nicer bit of a green, which I'm going to start introducing in here. And I think it'll look even cooler if, like, instead of just the division of colors going from one side to the other, if I have multiple colors that kind of drip over each other. So I'm going to let's say some of the yellow or some of the blue drip over the green a bit. When I was, in fact, what this reminds me of, um, when I pour like resin heads, like busts of monsters and things like that, sometimes what I'll do is I'll use a translucent resin, and then I'll pour the resin in, I'll tint the resin different colors and pour that into the mold in stages. And that way, when it comes out of the mold, before it's even painted, it has these different levels of translucency with different colors and things like that. And that is probably kind of an abstract concept to just explain verbally. You kind of got to see it. But in any case, that's kind of, I think, the look that I want to go for on here, is kind of give it that multiple, if I keep that translucent resin look in my head, that's kind of what I'm going to try to emulate with this. The one thing about this lemon yellow hue is that it's a very thin paint. It doesn't have a lot of body to it, so I am mixing that with a bit of the cadmium and then a bit of the titanium white just to get a color that will fill in a little better, that is closer to what I want from the yellow wax. Yeah, he's already looking pretty neat. Pretty neat. Michael says, Clint, when you made the mummy costume, that was pretty cool looking in your animatronic video. Ah, thank you, thank you. That mummy costume, well, I guess I, I probably told you all about it in that video, but it went through many different stages. That costume was constantly evolving over the years, and then eventually when it got a little too ratty to use again, it was it made a nice transition into being an animatronic costume. You know, I think we're also going to get a shadow on this side, which I kind of already hinted at there. So I got ahead of myself when I was sketching, uh, from these flowers hitting the side of that head. So we'll keep that in mind, and let's get some cadmium red. Not cadmium, yeah, that's what I want. Cadmium red. Get some of that out on my palette. And the red's mostly going to be over here, but I want to let a little bit of it just sneak its way into the other side of the painting here. Since I had a void of color right there. And if I go thin enough with this red, you know, put a little liquid in it to thin it down, I can even let some of that shading from the original black and white paint sketch there just show right through, and it does a lot of work for me. And I'll transition that a bit into this cadmium yellow. And I'm going to throw in just a slight touch of turquoise into the shadow side here on this red. That's more than a slight touch, but we're going to work it in. Again, this is just kind of where these flowers might be casting a shadow onto it. Okay. I know this is early stages, but you know, looking ahead at, I can start to see how this might look once it has, you know, cool shadow detail under the wax and like specular highlights added and stuff like this. I think it could end up being pretty nice. And I got to mix up more of my green color, which again I'm doing with just the lemon yellow hue and some phthalo green. Because I want some of this green to wash out here and eventually spill down. And I'm actually going to bring back some of this cobalt blue into this wax too, into the wax in front, just to separate our green from our turquoise a bit. And this green that's coming down here, maybe at this point, right, if this is a yellow puddle happening right here, maybe our green is merging with our yellow, and then these drips coming down there was right where those two colors make a baby and merge with each other. All right, yeah, I'm digging it so far. Let's see, Charlie says Nathan Clements does shorts of adding a white dot in the middle of the sun on his paintings, and it always amazes me how it makes them glow. Well, a dab, really, not a dot. Yeah, it's pretty interesting how you can take a small amount of paint placed in the right area and have it really do a lot of heavy lifting for you. And a bright white, when well placed, can really do a lot. I gotta say, I am going a lot thicker with some of this paint than I normally do, and I'm certainly setting myself up for a monster dry time in between sessions on this painting. But that's okay. Again, just thinking about how this is going to refract around there. There's going to be stems as well coming in from these flowers in the vase, so that's going to be blocking a lot of what we're doing now, but I'm just hinting at some of this color that's going to be shining through from the wax puddle that goes behind it. And I'm just going to take some titanium white again and just pop in some little highlight details, and then I'll go back in and kind of blend these in a little better. These won't be quite as hot details as they're looking right now. Oh, I always do that. I pull the head off of my brushes. These are cheap brushes, but I get a lot of use out of them, and I buy them in bulk. Just add a little bit of highlight here right on where this wax is going to go over the edge, just to give it a little more dimension. Going to switch to a little smaller brush, and let's just add a little bit of give the cigarette on the table here a little bit of love. We'll bring more detail into this later on, but just wanted it to have a little more personality since it was getting lost in the table detail. And again, we're going to give it just a little bit of a cherry at the end of the cigarette here, because it'll be smoking eventually. So I can't add the smoke yet, otherwise I will mess up all my wet paint. Oh, the painting went out of focus. What happened? how long have I been painting out of focus here? Let's see. How do I get this to refocus? Sorry, minor technical difficulties here. That is my iPhone pointed at the canvas, so, but it's going through this streaming software, so let's see, is it even, no, it's like frozen. It's frozen! Why is this frozen? Give me a minute, guys. I'm going to go on a break for just a sec and see if I can't fix this camera. I'll be right back. Let's see, are we back? Oh no, it's still blurry. What the living crap. All right, hold on. This is going to be... Let's see, I'm trying to... The streaming software is like temperamental. If I were just close it and reopen it, it would fix itself, but I can't. Otherwise, this stream will stop. So let's see. If there's another way I can get it to work. All right, hold on. One moment. Is it working now? Hey, look at that. We have a working camera again. Now I just have to reposition it. Good enough. Sorry about that. I had actually forgot to plug it in. So the battery had died, and then I had to let it charge up a bit just so I could test it out, and blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. We are back. How many of you did I lose in the process of that? Okay. Oh no. I do have the seltzer. All right. Here we go. We're back. Let's paint. Let's paint some flowers, shall we? Hello. Thanks for joining. That's my dad who has joined. Hello. It's a whole bunch of carnies all at once. I got my brother and my dad watching, and then there's me. So that's three of us. Three of us watching. All right. Hopefully that is the last of the technical problems for the night. Okay, so anyway, for those who are just joining and those who have never watched the show before, you're watching Art Autopsy. This is a bi-weekly live art stream that I do, and I'm your host, Clint Carney. I'm a professional artist working in the film and television industry and many other industries as well. Yeah, so every 2 weeks, I get on the old YouTubes and make some art, and I encourage everybody watching at home to make some art right alongside with me. And if you do make some art and you want to show it off, email it to me. My email address is clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. And if you do, I will feature it on an upcoming live stream. The art features always happen at the top of every episode, so if you submitted art to be featured and you didn't see it, just go back and watch the start of the videos and you'll see it there. And I'm just going to do a good variety of flowers, trying to, variety of colors at least, try to do an arrangement that's going to look nice next to our wax head here. And I ran out of lemon yellow hue. I gotta squeeze more out on the old palette. What's going on in chat? Did I miss anything while I was troubleshooting? Anything exciting happen in my absence? I could just go through and read all the old chats, but that would require me to not be lazy. And I'm doing the lazy version of these flowers right now, speaking of being lazy. But that's because, I work in layers, and all of these flowers are going to get love later when I'll add additional detail. For now, I'm just kind of blocking in the shapes. And I got a few different shades of green mixed up on my palette here that I'm just alternating between for these stems. They're all the base of all of the green is the phthalo green, but we got a few different shades mixed up with some lemon yellow in it and some cadmium yellow, just to give it a little visual interest from being one static color. Not that anyone was asking. Do you think when I'm here just painting alone by myself, I talk to myself about color as well? I don't. But maybe I do. You'll never know the truth of it. I just do it for your entertainment. And both with the wax and with these flowers, as I go, as the painting progresses over, God knows how long this painting is actually going to take me. Oh, I just pulled off the head of my brush once again. I will continue to make these colors richer and richer by layering more and more color on top of them. But it's certainly nice just to go from how we started today with the black and white painting, just to start to see some of the color on here, but it really comes together layer by layer, session by session. Jennifer says YouTube should add a feature that would read all of our chats to you. Yeah, that would be awesome. I've thought about that before. If I set up like a little AI voice or something that just reads the chat to me as it happens in like a robot voice, that would be fun. Because I'm quite sure I end up missing a lot over the course of these streams. See, Michael Garcia is done dry brushing his mask. Excellent. Good job. Well done. Count von Buckelwolfing says all the colors in the puddle of melted wax on the table give it a street trash vibe. Ah, I can totally see that. And thank you very much. You know, they just remade Street Trash, by the way. Um, I don't know, the director, I don't know if you guys saw Fried Berry, the crazy South African film, and the director of that, whose name I am forgetting, I should know his name, but he did a remake of Street Trash. So I started it, but I haven't finished it yet. But so far, so good with what I've been watching. So maybe it is the Street Trash influence coming through in this painting, since I have been watching it, or the remake at least. Julie asks, can't remember, is there going to be wallpaper on the wall? Yeah, that was the original plan when I was sketching it out, was to do wallpaper. Um, so yeah, it's not going to happen tonight, but eventually, if I really want to nerd out with it, I'll do an ornate pattern on the wallpaper, which I probably will. Michael says, and it's like what they say, a magician that reveals his secrets. Well, there's no magic to doing this. It's just putting in the hours. But if you like to paint, you never notice the hours go by. It's all fun. I kind of messed up my yellow rose here a bit, but nothing I can't fix in subsequent sessions. And just a reminder for those who are joining late in the game, coming up on March 21st, I'm going to be doing an in-person event over at the Hyena Horror Market. I'm going to be vending there. I'll have a table set up with paintings and masks and movie stuff and music stuff and all kinds of stuff. All my creative endeavors will be on display at my table. So come on by. It is a 100% free event. There's free parking. So if you are in Los Angeles, you have no excuse. Come on out. Say hey to me. Meet a lot of other cool artists. Not that I'm a cool artist, but you'll meet cool artists and me. So come on out. It's a fun time. For the deep shadows in here, I'm just throwing in this phthalo turquoise. Um, just right in there. Makes a good shadow inside that green. And let's see. What do I want to do for the lip of this glass? It's mostly surrounded by greenery, right? So but it is going to catch the light, and I certainly don't want this lip to be lost. So I'm going to go with just kind of a lighter green at first, and then I'm going to go in there and just hit some subtle highlights. Just mix it right on the canvas with some titanium white here. Let that mix right into the green. Yeah, good enough for now. Okay, let's see. So we got stems coming down. There's probably going to be a bunch of leaves bunched up at the top of this. Probably where, well, there will be leaves bunched up at the top of it if I paint them there. I can will them into existence, or I can not. We are going to find out together if I do. How do you guys work when you're painting? Do you plot everything out in your head in advance or on the canvas, or do you allow yourself the freedom to shoot from the hip and make stuff up as you go? As you can probably tell, I am in the make shit up as I go camp for the most part. Well, just for fun details, you know. Obviously, once I get the initial sketch in, I try to stick to that to some degree. But I'm not above making up random details if a thought occurs to me that I think could be cool. I'm just going to throw a little highlight in here. Kind of premature to add a highlight since I haven't even worked out the background, but I'm going to do it anyway because I am. Because there's nothing you can't fix later down the road if you end up messing it up. Let's put a little bounce of blue in there. That's nice. That's nice. And let's just say I'm gonna make that wallpaper magenta after all. Let's, at least right now, that's the way I'm thinking. So I'm just gonna throw in a little line on the outside here to indicate that. And then I'll cut in a little bit here on the inside of the glass. And maybe a little cut in underneath that water level. Yeah, I'm feeling okay about that so far, you know. Again, everything's rough at this stage, but, you know, it is coming together. See, Jennifer says, mostly I plot all my paintings out, but sometimes something unexpected will creep in. Aha. Yeah, I think it's important just to keep the fun of a painting going, is just be open to going down a new path if an idea hits you. Oh, you know what? I added a little bit of detail to that cigarette on the table, but not to the lighter, which is fairly lopsided right now. So let's try to fix that lighter a bit. straighten out that edge, and let's see, there'll be like a label on it. Then let's see, what do they got? The thumb presser thingy. The thumb presser thingy. And then like a metal doohickey. I think I've kind of ruined this brush. I think I got to switch brushes here. The head of this brush just keeps falling out. Does not want to cooperate. Okay, let's see. The thumb presser doohickey is like right about there-ish. Bright red. See, one thing you can do if you are having trouble imagining what something looks like I obviously currently am with this lighter, you can just go to Google and do an image search or whatever, but I'm gonna fumble my way through it just for comedy's sake and see what my mind's eye thinks a lighter looks like, and then later on I'll look at a picture of one and see how wrong I was. Let's see, then there's like a wheel here that sparks the flint, and that part's metal. This part's probably metal too. And let's see, we're gonna give it, again, it's gonna have like a label on it or a sticker or something. For some reason, that seems right? Don't lighters have stickers on them? Like a warning thing. Flammable, do not microwave. That sort of thing. I actually, if you don't ever paint, if you're a painter or a drawer or whatever, and you don't allow yourself the freedom to just try to do something from the top of your head without looking at a reference, you're missing out on a lot of fun, because you're gonna paint some really dumb looking stuff that way. But it's sometimes you stumble across happy accidents. So, but yeah, that's whatever. From a distance, I believe that as a lighter, I think, and then I'll look at a picture of one before I finish the painting. Let's see, Michael says, well, when I think of making a mask, I think of things that don't exist yet, but when I want to make one something in, like, I try to alter it. Oh, I see, yeah, because you start with the base and then do the alteration from there. Let's see, Charlie says, is that a little snail sliding on the right bottom of the vase? That, no, that's just part of the wax, poorly rendered thus far. But a snail would be cool. Oh, yes, and then you say, oh, maybe it's just paint behind the table. Yes, that's what it is, but a snail is cooler. Ba, ba, ba. Necrotechnicon, hello, thanks for joining. Says, nobody actually knows what the sticker on the lighter says. Yeah, that's a good point. I certainly don't, but I know in my visual memory that there is a sticker there, I guess. Or at least I think there is. There is in this one, at least. Okay. Let's work a little bit on the table here. So, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Wood table here. Again, this is going to have some kind of ornate carving in there. I'll work out the pattern. I'll probably try to figure out, I'll probably just rough something in right now for the wood carving pattern, and then figure out what I'm going to do with the wallpaper eventually, and then maybe have the pattern in the wood play off of that wallpaper somehow in some abstract way. I don't know really what I'm saying, but in any case, for right now, this is going to be wood. The floor is going to be wood. I'm going to want to do like a wood paneling on the floor, so I'm not going to do that tonight because I'm going to need a ruler for that, quite honestly. Yeah, so we'll do the wood here. We'll do the colored wax dripping onto the bottom of the table, and then maybe we'll do the teeth. I don't know. We'll see. Let's get this this layer of paint done on the table, and then we'll see what my stamina is like for continuing to blather on into the camera. How are you guys doing? You guys having a good time? I hope some of you out there in TV land are being productive artists and making art as you watch or listen. This again, same color that I used for the tabletop. It's just this iron oxide red, but you can see already the difference is when you paint thick, it comes out darker. Paint thin, it just washes through in a light way, and that's really the difference there. Trying not to ruin my nice yellow wax strip there, but I'll probably mess it up and have to fix it again later. Okay, let's get a little dab of titanium white on the old brush and start thinking about where the highlights are going to hit on this wood. Let's see, I'm just going to rough in what seems like maybe a generic wood furniture pattern, maybe some leaves. I've got some rough shapes that I put in there before on the underpainting, but for the most part I'm going to ignore those and just do something different. Similar but different. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the phthalo turquoise and use that as my shadow color here on the wood, just to reinforce the carving pattern here. I mean, no one's going to be analyzing the pattern of the wood carving too much, but you know, just not going crazy detailed with it, but just little suggestions that there is some detail on there. And then maybe at a later stage in the painting I'll be a little more meticulous about the detail. Or, since it is not the focal part of the painting, maybe I will just let that detail be minimal. If you add the same level of detail to, oops, that brush is trash. If you add the same level of detail to every piece of the painting, it can get a little confusing for the viewer of where you, not knowing where their attention is supposed to go, and can actually be a little unpleasing. So if you allow yourself to let some things fall away with minimal detail and just put the detail where you want their attention, sometimes that's the way to go. And other times I violate that completely and just add worthless detail everywhere. There we go. That kind of looks like a wood table thingy. Let's see. The chat's been going on. What am I missing here? Michael says my mind is now at a loss because I'm thinking what to do about my mask teeth on how I should make them. Well, you can make mask teeth out of any number of things. Sometimes, well, if it's going to be on a mask and the mask is going to be moving, I would stick with latex. But if it's just a display, you can even use Sculpey. There's like a cool translucent white Sculpey that makes really cool teeth and eyeballs and stuff. So that's a fun little easy way to do it. Let's see. Art Lady Bluntzer 4112. Howdy, Sir Clint. Interesting concept. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Michael says nice pattern on the table. Charlie says I'm more into consuming art than actually making it. Fair enough. Art Lady Bluntzer says, is it possible to turn on the CC? What? Oh, the closed captioning? I don't think that works for the live stream. You can, after the stream is up, once the recording is done, then the closed captioning will come on. Or did you mean Clint Carney by CC? I don't know. Let's see. Jennifer says like a Flemish landscape painting that has minute detail throughout. Yeah. So it can be cool when done well, and then sometimes it can be confusing. Oh, damn it. I just cleaned this brush and then I immediately dipped it in cadmium red. And now I'm cleaning it again. This is my life. Cleaning brushes. Okay, yeah, I think what I'm going to do for today, I'm going to finish off the bottom here. I see the bottom's getting cut off. Let me see if I can readjust the camera so you can see the bottom a little better. There we go, close enough. Yeah, so I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to do this teeth and this plug. I'm not going to do the outlet until I figure out the wallpaper because I'll just inevitably screw that up again. But yeah, so I'm just going to finish this, and then I think we'll call it a night, and that'll be a good stopping point where I let all of this paint dry for a few days and then come back and attack it again. Yeah, this was kind of a nice break because the last several art autopsies we started a new painting each time, so it's kind of fun sometimes to go back to one that's already in progress. And I've been having a lot of fun working on this piece and hanging out with you fine folks on the interwebs. Okay, yeah. I got to be careful not to paint over the spot where I want the drips to fall. And again, I'm just going to trust my original sketch here with these drips. For better or for worse. And again, just using the phthalo turquoise on the shadow on this wood, which seems to be working out just lovely, just lovely. And just take a little bit of titanium white once again, and let's hit some little highlights. I'm not going to be too precious with it. We can finesse the wood grain and stuff later, but that's whatever. It's the bottom of the table. It's a piece of wood. It looks wood-ish enough for now. Jennifer says, for the outlet, you should do that thing they do in Victorian homes where the pattern of the wallpaper continues on to the outlet cover. Oh yeah, that would be fun. Could be. We'll see. Good idea. And again, just blue's coming down here, so this is going to be blue. We got the yellow and the green hitting in the middle, and then our red hitting on that side. So I'm just going to try to stay consistent with what we're already seeing up above, so it looks, you know, somewhat believable that the wax is falling in the right spot here. And we're just blocking this stuff in quick and dirty. And you know, I'll probably throw some random drips in other spots on the wood, but not yet. Now that it's covered in wet paint, that thought should have happened earlier, but it didn't. But I'll go back later and add some additional detail on that once the paint dries and allows for such shenanigans. And again, over here, our green is just a mixture of phthalo green and lemon yellow hue. Mixing it on the fly right there. Okay with the little bit of that yellow mixing right in with the green, because we already established that those colors are melding together up top. And as you can see, I'm just being quick here and roughing this in, but I will finesse that after I get these basic colors in. Okay, switch to a smaller brush and just add some highlights, a little bit of shadow work. And for those of you who have joined the stream late, if you're wondering what the hell you are watching Art Autopsy. It's a bi-weekly live streaming art event that I host. My name is Clint Carney. I'm a professional artist working in the film and television industry, and do art for a lot of different projects. And every 2 weeks, get on the old YouTube and paint before your very eyes. So join me every 2 weeks, and I encourage anybody who has any artistic inclination to use this as an excuse for you to make art every 2 weeks, because it's fun and awesome and enriches your life. And then other people get to see what you've created, and it enriches their lives too, theoretically, unless you paint weird shit like I do, in which case enriching other people's lives is questionable, but I still have fun doing it. So there you go. There's the spiel. Art Autopsy every 2 weeks. And if you do create a piece of art that you would like to share with me and with others, email it to me. My email address is clintcarneycreates@gmail.com, and I will share it on the next live stream. I share art at the top of every episode. So if you came to the stream late and you're curious what some of your fellow viewers, what their art looks like, rewind the episode when it's over and just check out the top of it. You can see the art from some of my lovely viewers. Okay, yeah, it's going to be tough for me to really get this blob of wax exactly how I want it right now until the wood dries. The wood color dries a little bit. That's okay. It's all about bringing it together in stages, and for this stage we've made a lot of progress, so that's fine. So for those of you who are not familiar with the chattering teeth here, those are typically a wind-up toy, but this waxy gentleman up here needed a powerful one, so he bought a plug-in model of chattering teeth, which I'm not sure are available on the market at large. So there's a void in the marketplace if you're an entrepreneur and you want a $1 million business idea. Make chattering teeth that plug into a wall. I'm sure there are just billions of people clamoring to get a hold of such products. Maybe not. I'd buy one just because it's stupid. I might be your only customer, so maybe don't waste your effort on such things. But that's the fun of painting, right? We can imagine stupid things that don't exist and paint them for our enjoyment. And I am not going to worry about the plug yet. I'm just going to finish up these teeth. Like I said before, I got to do a whole wood grain panel crap and bust out the ruler for the floorboards, and inevitably whatever I paint that cord to look like now, I will just screw it up when I paint the floorboards. So I'm going to do the cord after the floorboards, if you don't mind. And then I don't have to, do it twice. And that's the other thing. The wind-up teeth are normally nice and pearly white, but our electric teeth here are going to be nice and yellow. Trying to see. Oh man, I just looked at the camera and realized that my stupid hand is covering this bit of detail as I paint. What can you do? Camera's got to go somewhere. All right, cool. We're going to call it a night on this guy. What do you guys think? You liking it so far? Yay? Nay? Let's see. I'm missing some chat here. Let's see. Michael Garcia is going to sleep. Good night. Charlie says base looks like a cake with a slice cut out. I hate being hungry this late at night. Nice. Da, 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 da. Julie says same. Now I see snow cone and cake. Yes, it is a delicious, grotesque painting, isn't it? Oh goodness. Art Lady Blunter, I'm working on a series of 6 double portraits of each grandchild and a little old me. Then the second series will be my husband and the grandkids. That sounds awesome. What a great project. Very cool. Julie says, have you seen the PBS episode about the wind-up teeth creator? I do not believe I have seen that, but that sounds like exactly the kind of thing I would watch. So I'll have to give it a watch. But yeah, I think we're going to call it a night. I'll say thank you all for joining me here, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Also, don't forget, March 21st, Hyena Horror Market. I'll be there, and it's a free event. So if you're in the North Hollywood area, come on out. It's held at the Mayflower Club, and yeah, I'm going to end by just posting the flyer of that for a few seconds if anyone wants the info. And you guys have a fantastic night. There we go. Hey, there's the flyer. Look at that. Look at that. Now you can pause it, write down all the information. There we go. All right, guys. Have a fantastic night. Thank you again so much.